Sara. Thank you for being here with us today. This week, you had the opportunity to have an academic experience in our campus. You stay 1 week in the summer immersion program to practice Spanish in the medical area as well. And also, you stay 1 additional week to have an academic experience. We were so happy to have you, and we would love if you can answer some questions. What was your general experience like studying abroad with us? Like you were saying that you had a great experience the second week. Tell us more about your experience.
I was able to basically just sit in a bunch of medical student classes, various different topics within medicine. And it was very cool because like it's vocabulary that I never would have been able to learn just from practicing my Spanish with other people. Like it's a very specific way to learn. And it was also helpful, brushing up on concepts that I've learned in English at my home institution. It also kind of acted like review. So in a way, it was like double productive.
It helped you because you infer some of the words,
exactly,
get the meaning. Perfect. What was your favorite class and why?
It was definitely Morfología de la Sistema Nervioso.
Okay.
Because neuroscience is like my subject. It's like what I study. It's like I know the nervous system like the back of my hand. And so it was almost like watching a movie that I've seen 1,000,000 times, but this time in Spanish. So in that way it was useful, because I can follow the lecture like step by step. I know exactly what she's saying, even if I don't know the words. And so then in that way I'm able to learn those words as I go. And it was really helpful in that way.
I'm so happy to hear that you liked that class, that you had a favorite one, and that it was in relation to your bachelor's program, right, where you're studying. And what were the other subjects that you took? If you can remember some that you can mention in this academic week, what did you learn from them? Maybe topics in Spanish or in English or also in the medical field.
I took an imaging class, so it was radiology. That was cool because I've shadowed a bunch of radiologists. I did a summer program 2 years ago. And so being able to review it again, but in Spanish was really cool. It didn't even occur to me that you would have different acronyms. Like MRI is like IMR or IRM. And so, or even just like learning that like CSF, which is like a liquid in your ventricles. It's like liquida cerebroraquidia. I was like, I never would have guessed that it would be called something different, but it's like really cool being able to learn these like new vocabulary words. And I was also able to sit in on some investigación sessions, like where they're doing research. It was really cool to see because I didn't realize they do like everyone in the medical school does a 2-year-long research project. So it was like part of their requirement to graduate. It was really cool being able to see like so many different topics that they chose and like and also that a lot of them are like related locally because they want to do the data collection here and like be able to like do surveys with people like in their community that they interact with. And so that was cool to see too.
Yeah, you wanted to take these classes in research.
Yes.
And I'm happy that you had, and I'm so glad that the students were able to present, that they were doing presentations of the topics of research that you were saying, right? That gave you a lot of input of what they're doing here in our context. How did you feel the classes with the mentors and the dynamic of the class, the activities and the professors?
It was very cool. I feel like I made friends with most of the mentors that I was sitting with. I think I have most of their Instagrams now. It's like, I like that I was able to experience 2 different levels of English fluency. Because it helped me, it forced me to practice, if they're not very good at speaking English, like forcing me to like have to converse in Spanish, like that pressure like really like would help me with my practice. But then also if they were more fluent, it was more helpful to be able to be like, okay, like what exactly is the connotation of this word? It's like not really something that someone can tell me if like they just know like, oh, it's kind of like this. But then, like, if it's someone who's like truly fluent in both languages, they can be like, it specifically means this in this context. It has these connotations, which is also really helpful.
So mentors were really helpful.
Yes, they're very helpful.
That's great to hear. And I'm happy also to hear that you made some new friends and maybe you can practice, like I was mentioning to you earlier, your Spanish, and through the chats. And don't forget on your new friends. What was your experience like staying in the dorms? What can you tell me about the dorms?
Oh, they were very nice. I was blasting the AC, so it was really good. No, and it was like very nice. It was very pretty. They had like art on the walls. It was very nice.
I'm so happy to hear as well. What did you feel about your Spanish progress? Like you were mentioning already, that all the new words you have learned, but since you arrived till this day, like how do you feel in your Spanish progress?
It's completely different night and day. Like I came in like not like really knowing hardly anything. Like donde está la biblioteca, like that was like my level. But then now it's especially with being able to understand, being able to read, and then like if someone speaks slowly and clearly, I can like actually really understand a lot more than I thought that I could. Speaking is still a ways to go, but definitely miles better than where it was before.
Because you were listening to the students and the classes and different topics relation to medicine, but also how did you feel after, some of the Spanish classes that you took?
Oh, those helped immensely too. Because, I'm not going to be talking about medicine in my daily life necessarily. I think it's also very important to be able to say things like the simple verbs, like, oh, I'm going to here, or like, I do this, I do that, and even also especially the grammatical structures, because it's different than in English. Just some basic skills to complement those medical terminology skills. It's definitely very important.
And that's great to hear as well that you like the Spanish classes. Yes. Would you recommend this program to others, and why?
Oh, 100%. I think it's most valuable for being able to see, that because medical school here in Mexico is very different from the way we do it in the US. Right? It's a lot more efficient. It's it gets straight to the point, whereas the US has you going in loops and circles. And so being able to sit here and watch their classes and see the way that they learn here, I think has been actually very insightful for how we could improve the US system, or it helps you to identify, things don't have to be the way that we've always done them. There's other ways to do things. And I also think seeing also too the way that they integrate local culture into their medical practices. For example, I learned here that go door to door and do the public health surveys, or if someone hasn't come to their appointment, they call and they'll even show up to your door if you're not coming in and you need to be seen by a doctor. They don't do that in the US. And so it's things like that make me realize there's room for improvement at home, and this is an example of how change is possible. There's other ways to do things.
It's interesting what you're saying, the different contexts and what you can have from both that can make it better, the medical practice. And that will be all from me. Thank you so much for studying abroad with Ceneu in Xochicalco. We were really happy to have you here, and we hope you had a great experience, and you're welcome back anytime. And of course, we'll always be here for you.
Thank you so much.
Sara.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.